Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. I'm hoping that everybody is happy and healthy. If you're watching this video, you're probably not, so hopefully this video can give you some insight on a topic that I've seen a lot of people talk about. Is MCS or MCAS, is it curable? And in my opinion, I'm not a medical professional, don't claim to be a guru. I just want to help a few folks out, but the cold hard truth is no, I do not think MCS is curable. I know in my other video you heard me mention that some things that helps. I think it's something that you can do to help manage the disease and help to slow the progression of the disease. I know some people have had some success stories, that's had Lyme's or, other co-infections. They healed their gut. They say, my MCS is not there anymore. That's great. I mean, but I do think that as far as 100% cure, I do not think so, because I see it as a result of chemical, psychological, or physical damage. And what I mean by that is, let's use this for example. Let's say you're on a patch of ice, you break your leg. Break your leg, it's the bone shattered. Okay, you go to the doctor, they do surgery, they put ice packs on it. Let's say 8-10 weeks later, okay, it's healed up, you're good to go. You go back to work. Chances are the rest of your life, that broke leg will bother you in some aspect, or it will cause some pain or some discomfort. It will affect you in some ways. And that goes for probably, I would say, 80% of people. I'm just using this as an analogy or an example. So what I'm getting at is, I think that you could, pick a lifestyle that nurtures MCS to the point to where you don't notice it as much? Of course, 100%. 100 absolutely percent. I think that, the protocols and stuff I talked about, or some of the stuff I've learned from functional medicine, the avoidance and stuff like that, yeah, I think it's possible. I think that 100%, you could live a functional, happy, healthy life if you have the means to get in that right environment, eat the right foods, eat the organics. And I would say that's for most people. And I don't want to sound contradictory, in my other video you heard me talk about, do I think it's curable? What I meant is, I think that you can improve it enough that it's manageable, and it's not going to be something that controls your life, or it's going to be the main subject or drawback of the day, that I have to worry about going to the store, I have to worry about doing this, I have to worry, I think that you can eventually get back to that point to where it doesn't control every aspect of your life, is what I mean. It doesn't mean, when I mean cured, I don't mean that you're going to do all this stuff, in a year's time you're going to be able to smoke cigarettes, or you're going to be able to you're going to be able to use a large amount of bleach in the washer, or I'm just using these as examples. I'm not saying I'm right, and this is not medical advice, but I think if you do all the right things long enough, and for some people it's different causes, sometimes it's Lyme, sometimes it's mold, sometimes it's chemical, sometimes it's environmental exposure, but it's hard to come back when your body goes that far. It's kind of like, think of it as you're digging a hole. The sicker you get, the farther in that hole you go. And the harder it is, the more stuff you have to do, the more stuff you have to avoid, the more stuff you have to to baby your body every day, the farther you are in that hole, the more stuff you have to do to dig yourself out of that hole, because it's steeper and steeper. So here's the other example I give. You know, people's like, people don't get it, people don't understand. Of course they don't. But use this for example. You take a average person, a regular person, they're around lacquer thinner or they're around paint, you know, it's real strong. They can't breathe, you know, they can't breathe for 10, 15, 20 seconds. You know, like, oh, I can't breathe, you know, you know, it's you know, it hits them real strong, or they go buy scented candles or something. They're like, oh yeah, that makes me sick too. You know, I know what you're talking about. But that person's recovery is within seconds to minutes. Your recovery as an MCS person may be hours, days, or weeks. So the difference between as an MCS person and let's say Billy Bob or Jim Bob, Billy Bob's better in 10 or 15 minutes. His body's recovered. But you're so chemically poisoned or chemically damaged or whatever that caused yours, whether it be from mold or chemicals, it may take you a lot longer. So how people get in trouble with MCS is they have an exposure, they're not over in 2 or 3 days, and they're around something else, and then that adds to it, then they're around something else, and that adds to it, and then slowly before you know it, you're so sick you can't function. And that's what a lot of people don't understand with MCS is the regular average person compares themselves to what they go through to what we go through, and that's just not, you know, it's just not a good comparison. You know, they're better in minutes, seconds to minutes. You take an asthma person, they hit their inhaler, they're fine, okay, a lot of times. It takes us 2 or 3 days to get over exposure, weeks. Some people so bad it may take months, you know. But I think with my avoidance, the more I avoid, the faster I'm over an exposure, you know. So the goal is if you keep doing avoidance, you'll eventually get to the point to where you may recover in 15 minutes. You may recover in 20 minutes, and that's what you want. That right there is the key to getting back to somewhat of a normal lifestyle. And this is not a one size fits all shoe, but this is what I've learned. This is 2 years of talking to the 20-year MCS veterans, talking to the best doctors in the world. That's functional medicine. This is talking to people all across internationally that's had this. So this is the non BS advice. And I think a person can get there. Do I think it's curable? No. There's no magic pill. There's nothing. I think all that's horseshit. Pardon the expression. Do I think with avoidance and the right diet and everything and the right environment and all that, do I think you can get back to living a normal lifestyle? Sure. I think that's doable. I use this as a good example. William Ray, he was basically the guy that wrote the Bible on MCS. He had MCS. He was a surgeon. I have not read his book, but I would love to do it when I have time. The winter's coming on, so I'm getting my camper winterized. But William Ray had MCS. He was a doctor or a surgeon that come down with MCS, and he lived in a aisle tile room. He lived to be, I believe it was in his 80s. When the man died, he still had MCS, and he was one of the ones that brought all the good information to light about treating and curing MCS. He helped thousands and thousands of people, from my understanding. at the environmental Dallas institute or clinic. Yeah, sure, it's probably some quackery, probably some things I don't agree with there, but they had a lot of good information. My telehealth visit, I learned a lot. There's some things that, sure, that they're going to say that I don't agree with, but, you know, the man spent his life researching and treating people with this, and he didn't cure himself, if that tells you anything, but he learned how to manage it, and he learned how to live with it. The only problem is with us MCSers or canaries, you know, we don't have the access to the Altar room. We don't have the access to, you know, the best things for us. You know, that's the sad part, and it's sad when I talk to people and I see people and they're getting worse and they're getting worse and they're getting worse and they're declining and they're having to take the medicine. You know, just to stay alive like me, you know, and it's very sad. But if there's any way I can help anybody, I'm here for y'all, and I hope this video sheds some light on whether I think MCS is curable. God bless.